Hi everyone, we're Travel of Johnny and Will, and unfortunately yesterday was our last day. It was our day 7 of our Spanish Flavors cruise on board Marella Discovery 2.
We are up bright-eyed, not so bushy-tailed either, but we're about to go home. So before they kick us out of our cabin, we are recording this video. Basically, we got up yesterday morning. We actually skipped breakfast because we wanted to get our video done. Because actually we do these obviously whenever we're away on holiday. It does take a wee bit of time. And obviously that meant even this morning getting up a wee bit earlier just so we could do this. But our decision for today basically was to head into the port of Gibraltar.
When you're docked in Gibraltar, you're about a 20-minute walk to the city centre. It's a flat walk.
Yeah.
But yes, there's also taxis available at the port, and the way they work is they sort of get about 8 people to go.
Yeah.
So like 4 couples or 4 pairs, and then once that taxi's filled, then they'll run everybody in, and I think the cost for that was only like £4 return.
Yeah, £4 return. Yeah.
So like really good value and a great option right at the port.
Yeah, and a lot of people were taking that
Yeah.
option. I think obviously whenever you haven't been to a port before, you're kind of like, oh, is it a 20-minute walk or is it a 20-minute walk up a hill or whatever? So I think
a 20-minute walk of my speed or 20-minute walk of your speed. But yes, so there's signs the whole way in. There's an important right turn over a crossing you need to make. I'll just insert a little sign here, and then it's very straightforward from there.
But yes, as soon as you get into the terminal building here, there is like a little tourist information desk where you can get maps, and then even on the walk yesterday, there was a few places where you could actually purchase maps for like £1.
Yeah, a big
from,
board.
a machine.
Yeah.
So you won't. It is difficult to get lost as such because it is quite well signposted.
Yeah.
But Gibraltar itself, basically, once we get into the city centre, you sort of go through like a sort of like an archway, sort of gate.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this opens up into a big pedestrian square. And around the square, there's lovely eateries and a few shops, and then there's like a big shopping centre over to one side of it.
Yeah.
But again, like it was full, like it was packed yesterday afternoon.
Yeah, there was a lot of like kids around as well, because there's a lot of, like, it was loud, there's chatter.
Yeah.
One other thing to mention, in the square, same as just when you get off the ship, there will be guys offering tours.
Yeah.
And they will visit 5 locations, which is
the viewpoint, the caves.
Yeah, the monkeys at the top of the rock.
The skywalk.
And there's one more. There's tunnels.
Yeah, the Great Siege tunnels, the war tunnels.
The Great Siege tunnels. And the price for these is £42 each. Takes an hour and a half to 2 hours, depending on which tour guide you're chatting to.
Yeah.
And they are available literally right at the port. You'll see them when you walk out the gate.
Yeah.
Or right in that square again, we saw them.
Yeah.
So if you decided to just go in, have a look around, you thought, oh, well, I could do a tour, I have time for that, you could do it.
Yeah, because again, it works similar to the taxis. They just sort of sit there lined up, and then once they get maybe like a handful of people that they're happy to then go, and they just go. Do you know what I mean? So it's not as if the tour starts at like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. It's just literally, as soon as they have enough people that they deem appropriate for their cab, then they just go. Okay, so because we had skipped breakfast, we were peckish and we sort of wanted somewhere to eat. So we had a recommendation from Ken Goes Cruising, and he mentioned to try the Angry Friar. So we stuck it into Google, and away we plod the streets to look for this pub, and it's sort of like a British pub. We sat outside. It's quite small, but we sat outside, and it just does really good plain grub.
Yeah.
Pub grub. And sometimes whenever we're on a cruise, that's what we want for after like nearly a week of eating like cruise ship food, and yes, we've had no complaints about the food on board Discovery 2. None at all. However, sometimes you just want something a bit more plain.
You just want plain, yeah.
So it was so good whenever we looked at the menu and we saw like gammon and chips, fish and chips, beef burger and chips, bangers and mash, all
like
pie and chips,
things.
And so I basically had the gammon, egg and chips.
Yeah, and I had the chips, sausages, and beans.
Yeah.
Very basic.
Yeah.
Like, this place is not going to set the world alight.
No.
You know, sort of just like a little UK pub,
Yeah.
really, in Gibraltar.
Yeah, but it was really, the food was gorgeous,
Yeah,
so
we
we
liked
really
the food.
enjoyed the food, and we had a drink in that there before making our way on.
So as we were walking back along the route, we noticed a Christmas shop. So of course we had to go in and make sure we got a Gibraltar
Bubble.
Christmas bubble, one for our blue tree in the conservatory,
Yeah.
and another one for the hallway tree.
Yeah, but I could have literally bought the whole shop, but we'd never get it home with the baggage allowance. So easy
the
to
lady
offer.
was really friendly in there, wasn't she?
But one thing you'll find, obviously, about Gibraltar is it is full of all the shops that we see in the UK. You know, we had Next, Matalan, Superdry, Mother Care,
M&S,
Holland
Yeah.
Morrison's, and it is sort of strange because, like, you know, you're kind of in Spain, but obviously it's part of the UK.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, you'll see the red post boxes and the police that are walking about look exactly, you know, like the same sort of uniforms, you know, you would get back home. Well, not for us back home, but in the mainland, and so it is all, you know, quite
Familiar.
familiar. Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, even the sound that the pedestrian crossings make, you're like, oh, that's familiar.
That's a familiar sound. So again, we just sort of we went along, just sort of retracing our sort of steps back, went into a couple of shops. We did then stop for what is known as a chimney cone.
Oh yeah, I forgot about
And so there was this, like, how would you describe it? Would it be
that. It
like
was a cake cone.
Yeah.
The cone was made out of cake that was like sugar glazed to make it a bit tougher.
Yeah.
And then they filled it with ice cream, and then they put a sauce on it, and then, like, I had a Bounty in mine, you had a Snickers. It was really good. I sort of didn't want to eat too much of the cake cone because I didn't want to, like, ruin my dinner. But
I had it all.
Yeah,
I
you
munched
liked
it. It lasted forever too. Like, I think we were about 5 minutes walk from the ship by the time I had actually finished the thing. But it was really, really yummy.
yeah, it
so
was something different.
It was, yeah. So then on our way back then to the port, we basically we sort of just dandered back at our leisure, you know. It is quite a pretty walk back. There's lovely trees and plants. We actually sort of took a wee detour sort of down a wee side street
yeah, look at
to look over the water and to look at the runway. Unfortunately, there was no airplanes landing.
No.
But just if you've never been to Gibraltar, if you're coming from, like, what is sort of Spain into Gibraltar, you actually have to drive or walk across the runway.
Yeah.
We've done that before, like years ago, and it's quite the novelty. So we were actually looking to sort of hoping that a plane would have landed, but didn't.
No.
Maybe next time. Maybe next time we'll be on that plane that lands.
Yeah, the way that Gibraltar is, it's nearly like, if you think of this is Spain here, and Gibraltar just being like this circle here, and the road just connects them like a string.
Yeah.
And then the runway cuts through the string.
Yeah.
So it's a very unique sort of terrain just right at Gibraltar.
So once we got to the cruise port, there is quite a large duty-free shop. The prices here are cheap. So if you're looking for booze or cigarettes or things like that, or perfumes, the cruise port duty-free shop is very cheap. So, like, for example, just by way of comparison, there was I have an aunt that smokes, so we have brought back cigarettes for her, and basically the same cigarettes that were on the ship were £20 cheaper in Gibraltar. So if you do smoke or you want to take home duty-free booze, just wait until you get to Gibraltar and then compare it with what you're going to be paying on the ship.
Yeah.
So people probably are wondering, you went to Gibraltar, why didn't you do the Rock? Why didn't you go and see the monkeys? Well,
yeah. So the very first time we went to Gibraltar, we went straight to the cable car station, went straight up to the Rock. Then we were both like, we saw the monkeys. A monkey was hanging off someone's hoodie, and we were like, and there was literally another one at our front or something near.
Yeah.
And we both were just like, no, wild animals. You know, we've seen people on TV got bit by monkeys and stealing stuff, so we just thought, no, we literally came up, got lunch, went out to the skywalk,
Took
took
a picture.
and then these monkeys were jumping all over the cars, and we were just like,
No
way, we're going down.
Yeah. So that is sort of why we thought we're not paying the money to do it again.
No,
You know,
definitely not.
and I think once you've seen it, you've seen it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so once we got back to the ship, we met one of the guest experience coordinators called Elaine, who kindly showed us around an accessible cabin. It was actually an accessible balcony cabin. So we're going to bring you a little video just on that in the future. So if we haven't already made it,
Yeah.
it'll be out soon. And if we have already made it, we'll put in the link here.
Yes. So at this point, it was quite late in the afternoon, so we both had to finish up a little bit of packing. And we actually received this note into the cabin. And what does this tell us, Johnny?
So basically, it's time to say goodbye. So that you get this in your cabin with your luggage tags. It sort of gives you information about what time to be out of your cabins by, where you can eat breakfast that day. Obviously, you can enjoy your drinks package and things until you leave. But where to leave your hand luggage if you want to, and where you're going to get your luggage whenever you get off the ship. And also on the back, then it tells you if you've booked a Marella cruise, which includes your flights. It tells you on the back the flight number and the time that you're due to depart at, and therefore what time you have to leave the ship at, and also if there's like a meeting point that you have to meet before leaving the ship. So like the earliest that people can leave here with a Marella and to a flight is 7:40 in the morning. But obviously we can be off anytime from 7.
And 7:40 is right now.
Yeah.
So we went for dinner in the main dining restaurant, 47 degrees. We both had the chicken goujons to start. They were amazing. And then I had the beef curry, you had the fish and chips.
Yeah, my fish and chips were really nice. Really nice. Pea puree.
And then for our desserts, we had sticky toffee pudding. And this sticky toffee pudding, the pudding part of it was so light and not like heavy. It was really good.
And it came just with a wee bit of custard, which is a surprise because 9 times out of 10 whenever you get a sticky toffee pudding, it's drenched in like a toffee or sauce. So we really enjoyed our dessert.
And service for our final night was super quick, which was awesome because we had to get to the theatre early for a new show called Jumbo and the Wonder Circus.
Well, this I think probably topped the other show during the week. Basically, we're not going to give too much away, but it basically told this beautiful story of this girl who met a baby elephant called Jumbo, and the two grow up together and become friends, and basically Jumbo goes missing.
Yeah.
And then they go looking and search
There's
for Jumbo.
literally a song and a dance all about this.
Yeah. And it's a very emotive story, and it's just so beautiful, and there was a couple of points where I was literally choked.
I felt like the song choice made it like, I was like, oh my gosh, this is a very emotional song, and then the next one would come in and like put another dagger in my heart, honestly. I think it would probably be in my top 3 Marella shows.
Yeah.
If not my top, honestly, it was that good.
Yeah, it just really was a beautiful story, and like all the time, like, you know what I mean? It's 2 people in a costume. And you're sitting there, and if you just put yourself into the show, it's just a beautiful story, and we literally just drew in.
We loved it.
So after the show, we made our way up to Squid and Anchor, basically to watch the game show, which was called Cruise It or Lose It, and it was basically two teams on stage competing against each other, and it was all questions to do with cruising. So there was ones where it was like guess the port by looking at a picture, and it was like guess a celebrity by looking through the porthole. There was like a ship, and it was like, you know, point to the stern or point to the bow, and you know, things like that. So it was really a lot of fun, and there was quite a bit of audience participation and things in that as well. Participation, but it was really good, and we got seats at the bar again, and which was great. We got chatting to the bar staff as well.
Yeah, and just to shout out those bar staff, Summit, Charles and Bryson, they were really attentive all week, and they really made our time in that bar and made our experience a lot better. Yeah,
they work super hard, as do like all the staff that we've came across, but those three guys really have ensured that our glasses are never empty.
Yeah, and they're so friendly all the time, just so happy in their work, and it makes us happy as well.
Yeah. So then after that was over, we headed then to the Atrium. We headed there a wee bit earlier because we wanted to get a good spot for the farewell event. And again, it's a beautiful thing that Marella Discovery do around that beautiful atrium. I think what we just do is we just insert the footage and let you see for yourself.
Yeah. So after this, we had one for the road, as you would say, and we went back up to the Squid.
Now the Squid was quite quiet because basically the band jam was on in the live room, but we knew fine rightly that once we seen the crowds dispersing from the Atrium, they were all heading to the live room, and we just sort of thought we are not wanting to fight our way to the bar or to try and like, you know, we didn't have our fishing nets with us to catch a waiter to get a drink, so we thought, no, we'll head to Squid, and it was just a really chilled out vibe in there. People just enjoying the last evening of their cruise and just having a few drinks. So yeah, we sat at the bar and we chatted away to the bar staff.
Away to Summit
and and it was just a great way to finish off the evening.
So that was our day 7 and our final day on board Marella Discovery 2. We will be bringing separate videos regarding bars and entertainment and food and dining, so do look out for those if they're not already out, and if they are already out, we will link them up here. But yes, if you've liked this video, please consider giving us a thumbs up down below, and don't forget to click subscribe, it is free, and ring the bell so you don't miss out on our next video.
Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Bye.